Aesthetics is typically talking about the baseball uniforms, new logos, stuff like that. We've got a very different aesthetics this week, as it does involve the look of baseball, at least, but specifically the New York Yankees and their facial hair policy. That was kind of the talk of spring training for the first week there. The Yankees, ever since I believe it started in the '70s with when George Steinbrenner took over, they implemented a no facial hair policy with the curious exemption of mustaches,
That's
which were
right.
a pretty normal thing in the '70s. They've since lost favor, although they are coming back in a big way with the hipster culture. It's not unusual to see mustaches anymore as it used to be, but all that time, all these years from the mid '70s on, you could not have a beard if you were a New York Yankee. Um, the most famous example I can think of is like free agents moving to the Yankees and drastically changing the look by doing so. It's Johnny Damon, famously from the idiot 2004 Red Sox, with his long hair and giant beard. He eventually signed with the Yankees and had to shave it all off and just look like a completely different person. I've seen over the years where, more recently, where like I think Mark Teixeira grew a mustache just because he could, just to be able to grow something. I just like that it's a mustache. Like it could be anything. Like you used to be a soul patch guy, weren't you? Didn't you have a soul
I
patch
was.
back
I
in the
was
day?
big in the soul patch. That's
I
about all
think
I
that'd
could
be
grow
funny if
back then.
that's what George was into at that time back in the '70s. If you could just the Yankees could only grow a soul patch.
That would be sweet. That would have been sweet.
Apparently, though, they finally learned that it's kind of a detriment to some free agents and their thought and their decision making. Like if they had to, if their identity is based on their beards or goatees or long hair or whatever it is, which we see that everywhere in baseball, they might not want to go to the Yankees. And apparently, one of their new free agents almost didn't go to the Yankees because he didn't want to shave off his beard, and they've caved to the pressure, the cultural pressure. Finally, now you can have a quote unquote well groomed beard if you are a New York Yankee. They're loosening that policy. You can go beyond a mustache to a well groomed beard. And I'm curious how a well groomed beard is going to be defined. You've been bearded for
Hmm.
quite some time. I am growing out my beard to some levels of success or not so much over the last couple weeks, having nothing to do with this Yankees policy. But
Sure, sure.
um, I don't know that I would consider my beard or your beard well groomed. Do you think these would be up to Yankee standards? Would we have to get these cleaned up to even have
Uh,
this amount of facial hair?
yeah, I am due to clean up mine. I do like a 2 week cycle
Okay.
of grooming my beard. I feel like it was on the Yankees though. I'd be doing it on a weekly basis.
Well,
Is
I
my
think
guess.
every major league team has a on-site barber, like just in the clubhouse. You can get a shave every day if you want. So that probably wouldn't be hard to do. I would love that if you could just have a professional trim me up every day if I needed to. So I don't think that'll be the issue. But I like the idea that someone is going to have to be the arbiter of what is well groomed. Like if someone is like Hal Steinbrenner, who did finally change this policy of his father's, is he gonna like have you stand before him and let him look at your beard to determine whether it is well groomed enough or not? I just I find that transaction, however that's going to play out, to be rather awkward and hilarious.
Maybe they'll use like a facial recognition type of software that has a well groomed beard
Yeah,
programmed into it, and
they'll have like an
as
ABS
it's
system. If it
yeah,
comes outside of their parameters, you get a
yeah,
you can challenge it, and they will say you are wrong. You'll get buzzed.
go to the Baba.
Yeah. Go talk to Bill, the barber. Yeah, I just it was a lot of talk of that last week. I thought it was hilarious. I thought it was perfect for our ridiculous aesthetics segment. Just taking it a little bit different direction, but it's definitely something about the look of baseball that I like find fascinating to talk about. So
After all these years, they finally give in.
yeah, yeah, it's interesting that it's just happening now. Like, I mean, the idea that they allowed mustaches for so long, even though nobody wanted a mustache for 30 years. And then to find, I mean, everyone's bearded basically. I should do. We should find a study, or maybe I'll do a informal study. Like the percentages of beards across baseball. Would you put that at like 80%? Like of all major league players, there are a ton of beards in baseball.
Yeah, and there's a lot of, like, obnoxious beards.
There
Like
can be a lot, but I would say they're most are I would consider well groomed. But just the percentage of beards is massive. I mean, it seems much larger than it's ever been. So maybe that's the Yankees are finally caving to that. Just the numbers, like there's so many potential free agents. There's so many that might be very particular to their beards that they wouldn't go to the Yankees if they had to shave it off, which seems absurd, but that is happening apparently.
huh, I wouldn't shave it off for the Yankees.
Word Hole Media.